welcome to this Pixelmator tutorial. In this Pixelmator tutorial, I'm going to show you how to do the dispersion or the dissolve effect that I did indeed cover last week in an Enlight app. So anybody that's seen that, you will know the sort of end result that we're going to get. A few people sent me messages asking me, can we do this in Pixelmator? Yes, we can do it in Pixelmator, and I'm going to show you how. So let's get over into Pixelmator and carry on. So in Pixelmator you can see that I've got the same images that I used last week, or the same templates that I used last week, and any resources that you need for this, and I will actually show you how to make later on one of these templates as well, but any resources that you need for this you will find in the link in the description to this video. So the way we do this dispersion effect, we go over here to our tools. Now if you haven't got your tools on your screen, press Command 1 to hide or show the tools, or you could go to the view up here in your toolbar and hide or show tools here. But I just think Command and 1 keyboard shortcuts, it's a good way to work. It's an efficient way to work, so get used to them. So then we're going to go to this warp tool down here, and I'm going to select the warp tool itself. There's a few more tools, but I'm going to select warp. So once we've got this warp tool, you'll notice I have got up here in my toolbar a diameter and a strength slider. So just make sure your strength is around 70 to 75%. Don't worry too much about the strength. And then the diameter I'm going to ramp up a little bit to around 185, 186, whatever, between 180 and 200 in diameter. And then with my background layer, let me just double click to rename it, background layer, to make for ease. I am going to, so make sure you've got the background layer selected, warp tool selected. I'm then going to left click and drag out and warp this image itself, like so. Now obviously dependent on the strength, if I put my strength up a little bit, it takes away the feathering a little bit, but don't worry too much about it. So if you want to feather something, just turn down the strength a little bit and it will feather it out like so. So I'm just going to keep this like this for now, and then I'm going to just do a little bit down here, just warp a little bit here, just so we can get a nice dispersion effect. Like so. So I'm happy with this sort of warp effect that I've got at the moment. So I'm going to go back to my selection tool, and then I'm going to change the order of these layers. So I'm just going to drag the background layer below the confetti layer, and I'm going to turn the confetti layer off for now, just so I can show you what I'm going to do. So with this confetti layer selected, turned it back on, I'm going to position it over half of the screen like so, and then I'm simply going to go to my blending mode here in my layers, my blending mode, and lighten this blend. So you will see it breaks up the actual image that I have just the warp effect that I've just created below, but gives the effect that the body is sort of dissolving away. So there are a few more blending options that we have. You could screen blend it, and if you notice on the screen blend, we will use this, it sort of fades this first part in, whereas the lighten will just lighten the screen. The screen blend, if you look here, sort of blends as it falls in. And then we also have the color dodge, which allows some of the color through. The linear dodge, which takes the doesn't allow the color through in great effect, but around the lines you have to look really carefully. And then we have the lighten color, which sort of is also a good blending mode that we could use. So I haven't done anything, I've just kept this on around half. Now I'm going to just put this blending mode back to lighten, and then I'm going to press with my confetti selected Command and F on my keyboard. So now I get the option to rotate this little anchor. You look at my cursor, this little rotate, just to manipulate this confetti the way I want it to be manipulated, like so. So now underneath this layers pane here, you'll see I've got a little OK button at the top right hand side. I'm going to click OK. So that's my first sort of effect, and now I am going to just keep copying this layer and pasting it in a different way. So I'm going to duplicate, right click, highlight, duplicate. So now I've got a copy of the original layer, and I can actually move this one down. Now the trick is not to see these lines. You see these hard lines here, not to see these hard lines here. And the way we can do that is we could use the screen blend, or we could use the lighten blend, and it will take away the not perfectly, look, you can still see the hard lines, but what we can do, if we went back to lighten again, we could just sort of match up this blend so you can't see the lines yourself. So this is quite effective, and we're going to duplicate again and then move this one just so it's hard to see the lines, like so, and then duplicate again, and we could even resize it by dragging these little anchor points like so, and we could even rotate it again, so then that gets rid of our lines. Click OK because we've reshaped it, and then I'm going to duplicate that again, but drag it down this time, down here somewhere, like so. So I'm happy with my dispersion effect. I could add a couple of more of the duplicates. But what I'm going to do is make sure my top confetti copy is selected. I'm then going to go to my bottom one, press the shift key on my button to select all of them above. And then I'm going to right click and create a group. So now we can turn on and off this group like so. So let me show you, because that is pretty much the dispersion effect in itself. Quite a good trick. What you could do, I suppose, you could take this background layer and duplicate the background layer. Now with the top background layer, the top background copy, so let's just double click this and call it top BG. So that's my top background layer selected. I could go to my my effects layer, the way on my effects tools. We could go view, hide or show effects, or we could use the command 3 keyboard shortcut, using it like so. And then we're going to go to this glass, so we could go make sure all effects are selected, and if you want to search, just GLAS, and it will show you all the ones that match your spelling. And then with the top background layer selected, just double click the glass, and this will indeed apply that effect to the layer that you've got selected. Or you could drag and drop onto the layers pane there, or drag like so, Command and Z to cancel that, or drag and drop direct to the image like so. But I just prefer to double click with the layer selected. And then we've got this glass distortion effect. So what this does around the edges here, you see, it gives the same as the dissolve effect. So we can just turn it down a little bit, tone it down a little bit like so, and click to, I've got 116, you can just double click that and type it in like so. I've typed in 117, and we'll leave it at that. With the top background layer, top background selected, I'm going to go to my blending again, and then you could go to lighten the screen, so it takes it away a little bit, or you could go to the screen itself, which would brighten the screen, or lighten the color like so. But if you want this speckled sort of dissolve effect on this side of that person, or this side of the image that you're using, also the way you would do it is the way I just showed you with the glass effect. So you turn on or turn off if you didn't want to use that glass effect. So that's just another. Okay, let me show you now how to make your own sort of confetti background, but we'll do it a little bit different. We'll use, I don't know, smoke or sparks or something, just to show you how you could make it yourself. So I'm just going to turn this confetti background off. In fact, I'll turn all the backgrounds off, so we're just left with a blank. And I'm going to click new layer and just drag that new layer up to the top of our screen. And then I'm going to get my paint bucket tool, get my color white, so select the snow color. If you haven't got your colors on the screen, Shift, Command and C will hide and show your colors. Shift, Command and C. Paint bucket tool selected, white selected or snow, and just left click into that space of that with a background layer selected, and it will give you white background. And then I'm going to go to this selection tool here, and I'm just going to drag out a rectangle of about this size on the right hand side of that new layer. And then I'm going to select this licorice, go to my paint bucket tool, so paint bucket tool, then licorice with the background layer selected, and left click into that area. Press Command and D to deselect that area, so we just have a licorice or a black strip on the right hand side of our white background. I'm then going to go to my paintbrush tool, and I'm going to need my paintbrushes selected, viewable on the screen. So I'm going to press Command and 4, and it shows the brushes. Now with the brushes, what we can do, go to our tools, and we could select a sort of theme. We will keep it on the sparkle theme, and we'll keep with the spark. So we'll keep these sparks here. So I could change the diameter of the sparks, but all I'm simply going to do with my licorice color selected again, I'm just going to left click and make sparks like so. The trouble with the sparks, some of them are or do become white, and that's just a trait of the sparks. I wonder what happens if I use this. See, this is quite so I could change the diameter of this, and this is a little bit better, this whirlwind thing. So I'm just pressing Command and Z to undo, and then I'm gonna just use this sort of this whirlwind type of effect like so, and then that is that really. I'm just going to make this a little bit darker along this line here, but that is that. I'm going to go back to my selection tool now, turn this background layer back on down here with the top layer that I've just created selected. I'm just going to change the blending to lighten again, so you will see we get the same sort of effect, and all we would keep needing to do is duplicating this layer and moving it around. You see we get this, so without any sort of attention to detail that I've paid. I would change this slightly to be a bit more dispersed here, so we've got more gaps here, but you get the idea of how easily to create, and you could do this with smoke as well, to sort of just a little bit of trial and error to create your own background template as well. But for now, that's the dispersion. You could add possibly a couple of filters to that, whatever it is you wanted to do. I'll probably do it at the end of the video. I hope you've enjoyed this. Go ahead, do what you want to do with this, but I'll catch you again soon. Thanks for watching, and thanks for your support. Bye.